Hello, can you hear me?
Yep,
I can hear you.
You hear us.
Yep. How are all of you?
I'm
Doing
great.
great.
Buzzsaw, I would like to apologize in advance for my
For what?
commentary for your Clossi League review.
What do you mean?
There was about maybe 10 to 15 cutting points that was
Oh
missed.
yeah. Well, listen. The funny thing is that I knew that this was going to be embarrassing. So don't apologize. It's got to be done, right? It's got to be
If it
done.
makes you feel any better, I was yelling at both you and Diane for the whole game of like, fix the cutting point, kill the cutting
Well,
point, fix the cutting point, kill the
oh,
cutting point.
I know. What I'll tell you what bothered me more than anything is I don't mind losing, and I don't mind losing by a point and a half. What I hate is being ahead and throwing the game away. That's
Uh,
what I hate.
I actually don't think you threw it away. Aside from the cutting points, you both play like quite close. Like I said, 25 points is close. It can go either way depending on the Yosei. I actually thought aside from the cutting points, it was a decent game, I guess. Um,
Okay, well that's good.
but I really didn't like the game because there was a lot of cutting points, and then what?
Yeah.
And then I got a little salty about one. You fixed a cutting point in your shape that did not work until the liberties were filled, and even then it didn't work. But it was a difficult read, so I could understand like okay, maybe like after the liberties get filled, I understand it might be scary, but the liberties weren't filled yet, and you still fixed it.
Okay. One thing to note, and I know that I'm supposed to be able to play in Bioyomi,
Uh-huh.
but one thing to note is that I was in Bioyomi,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't read so hot, and I'm doing the best I can with that. But
It was
like
a ladder
I
though.
I'm accustomed to playing Yongsang Dojang games where I have 40
Yeah.
minutes of basic time. And even then I don't necessarily use it, but I've been trying really hard to use my time. And
Hmm.
then I end up in Bioyomi with that I don't even know what to do with. So,
Yeah, but
it's
like,
tough.
but it was a ladder, and I'm like, just read it, just do it. It was a,
Okay.
it was,
So basically I understand it's going to be brutal and I will try not to cry.
yeah. Don't take it too personally. I also yelled at.
Crying. She was crying already, so maybe she's got all her
Oh, no,
tears.
no. I wasn't crying. I wasn't crying. I was just seething for for possibly I don't know how many hours. I had a hard time getting to sleep that night because I was spending time with AI Sensei.
Oh man, no. This game, I actually thought White played a lot more solid than Black, but Black had a very interesting plan. The problem was all of the good stuff was just overshadowed by all of the cutting points. But yeah, fixing this one is just we can't do this. We can't do this. Like if you just look at it, boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
It just doesn't
Are you
work.
looking at something?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
All right.
sorry. Share my screen.
Oh, okay.
Um, this one. Okay. So
Okay.
this negative 21 point cut.
Uh,
So you see how you don't have the liberties
yeah,
filled?
right.
So it's just the ladder.
I was definitely in Bioyomi.
Well,
Um,
I figured it's a Bioyomi mistake, but
yeah,
even then, we still have to like try our best to read it out because that's a
right.
whole move. That's a whole move.
Right. Well, up until the point when I actually looked at AI Sensei, the thing I felt the worst about was playing E19 because I was in Bioyomi, I couldn't read it, and I was worried about a potential Seki. And
This
then
one, I don't really hate this one. Would have preferred you play something over here, but I could see this being like it's complex. But what I don't like is you fixed it twice.
yeah,
That's just not good because there's
right,
literally nothing there. Like this is three moves or four moves.
right.
Sorry. cut, Atari, connect, Atari. There's nothing there. So the only complex thing was if they do this, then here, and then here, but you just connect.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, will I die? And this should be, I think, easy enough to read that you won't die, especially with you being out. If there was liberties on the outside were filled, I could see it, but yeah.
So then, basically, you've recorded all of the games from.
I got two. I got 2 out of the 3. I still have 1 more to go, but I ran out of time.
Fine.
Yeah. Anyway, just a lot of cutting points this game. I apologize in advance for it.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, in my defense, I would like to point out that I have won all of my games in the Massachusetts League.
Nice. Nice.
Every
No,
one of them.
I would say you over defending your stuff is annoying, I guess. But the big thing that I was yelling about in that game is both of you were missing black's cuts. It wasn't even your problems. It was you were not killing black like over and over and over.
Right.
That was a bigger issue.
Isn't that my problem?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, please just cut your opponent. They're like bending over backwards, like, here, please cut me, and you just won't do it. But it's okay. Live and learn.
I'm gonna learn from it. I will definitely.
Okay. So I think a lot of people are interested in today's class, Clossi Class. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm gonna open up a demo board first. So this is the.
I should have let you do that levers right from the start, just for this benefit.
Oh, is that the Weather Channel?
It's a emergency alert, National Weather Service. There's a tornado on the way.
Oh, fun! You know, there's a hurricane too.
Oh, help me!
Or is the hurricane passed by now? I don't know. Hurricane Ida.
We didn't experience that.
We didn't experience it either. Apparently, we were in a good spot. We just got a bunch of rain. But yeah,
Rain.
but it was apparently a pretty big hurricane. Okay, so the points lever. This is a Yeonggusang lecture. I know, Frank, are you in the Yeonggusang?
I'm a spectator on the European one, but I haven't actually played in any of the leagues. I don't think I'm strong enough.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But you can still see the lecture.
You're able to listen to all the lectures.
I'll give you guys a link to it. So that way you can, in the Clossi class, for those who want to watch it, who are members of Yeonggusang. I'm going to go over it to try to give benefits to people who are not in the Yeonggusang, of course. And also try to simplify it so that way, because what I do is I make the game simpler, right? Inseong talks about stuff like very, very accurately, but there's so many branches to his lecture. It's so hard. I have to watch it so many times. But it is really good. I really like it. Season 30 points lever? Where's the points lever?
Actually, if you go back and go into this from the opening link, under lectures by category, you see the number 2 at the opening? Go there.
There we go. Right there. Okay. And I'll post this in the Clossi classroom. So there's that. Okay, so we're not going to watch this because this is like his material. I can't share this. And I'm not going to be able to go in nearly as in depth as he does. I just can't. But I will give a brief introduction to maybe make it something simple. So first off, the opening starts here. And this one's already like quite interesting because normally you would start here. And for those who don't know, this is because your opponent usually sits across from you. And if they want to prevent the cross, they can, but usually they can play like right here. And this lets them approach on their side of the board. So this gives them the closest corner to their right hand, which most people are right-handed, and lets them play a 3-4 that approaches your 3-4. Okay, so it's kind of like polite manners to do this. To do this one over this one. This one's considered a little bit rude, I guess, if you were to do this to a pro. Don't do this to a pro. But this is the polite manners one. But usually they'll play here, and then you play here, and then you play an opening, right? And this is the 1-3-5 opening, which was one of my favorites as I was getting stronger. I played this one for like 2 years exclusively. But even if they do this, you could go right here and still get the same opening that we're going to talk about. But the reason we go right here is because if you go right here and some people, want to play the proper corner that they would play, they can still prevent cross, and that's perfectly fine. But some people will want to approach your corner, and so they'd play it right here. So a lot of players will think, okay, play on the left. And so that's reasonable. But if we play here, a lot of people will, out of habit, still play over here or over here because they won't understand why. So this one, I think, will give you a slightly higher chance to pull off this opening over this one. However, if you're playing a pro, do this one. Okay, this is important. don't play that one against the pro. Do this one. But okay, so let's do that, and let's say they prevent the cross, perfectly fine. And then you do this. And this is going to be facing 3-4 points. And we're going to pretend that it's Nirensei. If it's not, it's okay, but we're going to focus on this. The next move is actually to make a Shamari. The reason for this is this gets us a corner very quickly. And when our opponent goes down here, we focus on getting a second corner. And then get a third corner. So this is why it's called the points lever, because we're getting points very, very quickly. All right? And now we have 3 corners, and all we have to do is just deal with White's Maya. Okay? We're going to go over some game examples where Drooch played it, because Drooch gave us several examples. So this one I have been finding has been quite effective against single-digit queues. I'm not sure how effective it would be against double-digit queues, because the double-digit queues, I think, just don't have openings at the moment. But for single-digit queues especially, this is getting like 30 points in the opening is really fast for territory. And also your opponents usually don't know opening patterns and don't really understand the opening patterns, so usually you'll get a points advantage really, really fast. So I think it's very interesting. Now, if they go low, it's actually quite similar. You just go here, and this is -2 points. But since you're going for a specific opening combination, it's okay to lose 2 points to still get your plan, because 2 points is not worth like losing your plan, I guess. And so you can still get it. So it's still 3 corners, and that's pretty much the idea. It's just you love points, get the points. I don't think there's any more complications beyond that one. There's a lot more variations, but I think simplistic wise, that's pretty much it. That's a simple idea. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now the only other thing to consider is like, what if they take it away? Okay. Here you have 2 options. You can go for the 1-3-5 opening, which is just another opening, right? And it's actually pretty similar as well. And you could still potentially do it because a lot of players will still do this and give you, I forget which corner. I think it's, I don't know. We'll still give you 3 corners. I don't exactly know which one I should play here. But a lot of players will still give you like 3 corners pretty quickly. So I think that's perfectly fine. But as you get stronger, I think if you're facing like down level players, they're almost always going to attach and shoulder hit, which Inseong talks about like, oh, he doesn't like this one as much because there is a lot of moves here. But I don't think single digit Q players know those moves like hardly at all. So you can still get away with it even if you do this, you can still do it. However, you can also play the cross. So this one, let's see if I remember this. This one, the corner, the way you want to enclose the Shamari now is high. And then if they do this, oh, sorry. Then instead of the 3-3, you would approach, because you can actually make a pretty nice combination right here. That combination is actually pretty nice. And he goes over a lot of variations explaining why high is better than low because of the combinations over here. So if you want more details on that, you'll have to watch his lecture, unfortunately, because I don't want to go over all the complications that can arise. There's just too many branches. There's a reason it's his lecture, not mine, right? But this is the simple idea. It's just when you have a high stone, it allows you to approach instead of 3-3 and make a combination on the left. So that's the very simplistic way of looking at the points lever. Does that kind of make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So again, it's really simple. It's just facing facing 3-4s, make Shamari, get a corner, and Sente, and then 3-3. That's the points lever. Okay. If they prevent you from doing that, you can either go to 1-3-5 and try to do the same thing, or you can do a cross and go high, and then get a corner, bada bada bum, bada bada bum, get a corner, and then and then approach with your high stone, and this gives you a combination on the left with still a corner. Okay, so that's hopefully that's easy enough to follow. Do you guys think you can follow that pretty easily?
Can white play just c7 at this point at press?
Yeah, but then you can pincer and start a fight. If you want more details on this,
Does he cover that? I forget.
I don't think he covers it on this move, but he covers a lot of variations. This is a common shape, though. If they just approach right here, one, you can just ignore it. And two, locally, you can pincer and attack. They slide. You can block like this or like this. And then they have to jump, and you can defend. So that's a local variation. There is also this. But this isn't super difficult for black to handle. Like you can do that, you can do that, you can do that. So yeah, it's not, and then you could also cut, right? There's also the cut pattern.
That's alive, yeah.
Mm-hmm. This one, black might be over concentrated. I'm not sure. I don't know. You have to check that AI. But yeah, this is kind of like side Joseki's, I guess. But I think it's still playable. You just have to learn how to deal with it. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions over the points lever basic pattern?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Again, Inseong goes over a lot more variations, but I think the amount of variations he goes over is a little overwhelming. So I tried to simplify it for you guys, so that way you could implement it.
That is helpful.
Okay, so now let's just look at Druch's games. So here's the first one. And this is one thing I see a lot is Druch always ends up with a huge territory lead in his games lately when he's black, because he does the points lever and then he's up by like 20, 30 points in the opening. And then it's some reason it becomes very close by the end. So I'm working on Druch with that, but his opening's like super powerful. Okay, so he does it. Cool. And this is against a 6Q. Okay. Alright, so they chose the Hane, and that's fine, just take the corner. This Hane is considered slightly like a small mistake because the peep exists, but it's not a big deal. Alright, so Druch is going to go in and just take care of the left. I think that's okay. Simple Joseki. I agree with that. And then I do not agree with that. Just be simple. A live, and where's white's combination? Like, already you're ahead. Because look at this. You have 10 plus 14 plus, what, I think 6? Plus another 10 to 12, at least. So that's 20, 30, 40, like 40 points already. To what? Let's be generous and say 9. Because that's not 9, but let's be generous. 9, 6 plus Komi. It's like 20. 30 if we're generous. So we're already up by at least 10. We're being extra generous to white, and we're up by 10. See what I mean? Super effective. Super effective. But what you don't want to do is give your...
We play one more move for white at K4.
K4. You might want to shoulder hit here if you're trying to build an influence. I think that might be more effective for an influence.
I was trying to counter his C10 move. So I thought maybe there was a K4 move, and it would be more real. It would give an idea to me. Although I agree that the shoulder hit's probably the way to go.
The idea is that white needs to build some center because white doesn't have any territory. So white has to get something. Right?
I thought the territory with K4, white.
That's still not enough.
A whole lot.
Because if you go here, one, I can slide. If it's just territory, I can just take it. Or two, I can start playing reductions. And how much are you going to commit to territory? How much center?
That's kind of what I wanted to know.
Yeah, so it's actually quite difficult. Like, I don't know the answer because white's losing. White shouldn't be getting in this problem in the first place. I think white should be focusing more on a combination. So, like here. Right? Or maybe just push.
Yeah, that looks good.
See, this looks a lot better. And this is what I mean. Like, for some reason, Druch's opponents always give him a massive lead because they don't think about the combination. And so, I'm like, okay, maybe you guys should do it and see if your opponents do make the same mistakes. Right? Because it might be extra effective because if they don't know how to make a Moyo combination, then you just get a giant lead, which makes the middle game easier, right? Now, it's not going to win you the game, obviously, because you can't really win with just the opening. But if you can have a lead starting out, I mean, it's really nice. But let's say your opponents do respond correctly and get a combination. Well, then you just have to play reductions and stuff. Like, you can invade right here. You can shoulder hit. You know, you just play reductions, and it's okay. What you don't want to do, though, is give your opponent something to attack in their Moyo. Like a 3-space jump. That's what you don't want to do, is you need to watch your weaknesses. You're winning. Your opponent needs an opening. So if you give them an opening, they're going to jump on it. So be wary about giving your opponents openings like that. This is unnecessary. Simple works here. All right, so let's look at another one. All right, you said this one is a cross game. Let's look at that one. And thanks to Druch for giving us these samples, these game samples. Okay, let's review this game.
Review started.
All right. See, he played the wrong one. He didn't psych his opponent out. You gotta psych your opponent out. Okay. High. No, the next one's a low Shamar, I believe. I think it's high and one high and one low. I think. Double check the lecture Druch, but I think it's one high, one low. But even this is fine. Technically, though, with the high, you would want to approach, I believe, because I think that's the idea. Yeah, escape. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so now we have 30 points. So all we have to do is think about white's Moyo. So we can do another 3-3 if we want. Can't really approach this, but we can invade right here to attack something, or we can invade right here to attack something. So I would say destroy either the top side or the bottom side. So my thinking is either A or B. Just approach. Unfortunately, with this stone, maybe the approach isn't the right move. You just get pincered. I would just make life. Just make quick life. I don't know. Maybe let him have it. I don't even know. I don't even know what white should do. White just connects. Maybe just like that. I think that's good enough. We just take another corner. It's just not barely anything for white. Yeah, you can't really jump and then attach. That's not a good combination. If you jump, it says you want to invest by running away, but then you attach, then your opponent can just cut you. And then it's like, why did you even jump in the first place? Why not just attach? Because that's good for you. If you go right here, you're not going to play here. Right, so the response to this is here, and then jump. And then you can pincer. I think that's this is an older pattern, but it's a pattern. That's a lot of cutting points. Nah, that's just unnecessary. Okay. All right, now we're getting a little bit out of the opening though. We're getting into middle game stuff.
I would have felt that 12 was overplay, but maybe played it.
This one?
Yeah.
It's not overplay, it's just points. I think it's safe. I would like to be like more active though, because we're winning. So if we just destroy White's combination, then we're winning. So just stay strong and just make White struggle for a combination, because your opponent has to make a combination to catch up the points. So if they never make a combination, then you just win on points. All right, so let's look at this one. White tries Avalanche. See how that goes.
Review started.
All right. I think you just need to connect and go 3-3, because you're just after 3 corners, right? Maybe this is not good though, because that's a lot of influence. I don't know. I don't think Inseong went over the Avalanche. That's not the Avalanche. That is not the Avalanche. Mm-hmm. This is close. I think black has a slight advantage. I'm wondering how big this move is, because let's say white fixes, you can still attack. So I think R2 is Sente. R2 might be Sente.
If he goes R2, then wouldn't he automatically go out to M4 or L4?
Yeah, and if he does, then we can go do this again, and that's a good exchange for us. Because in the game, black neglected it, and then white got it, and Sente. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe R2 is good. If your opponent can fix something in Sente, and you can prevent them from fixing it, that leaves a lot of Aji, could be worth it usually. Tricky. This is tricky. Maybe here. Because after white fixes, you're pretty close to thickness. But maybe it's fine. Maybe you're okay.
Can black play O2?
If you play O2, you might get squeezed. Well, I might just say, take the corner, I will squeeze you, and then get my influence. So breaking the combination is more important. Like, I'm honestly tempted to just go here, but then that might be too passive. Like, not enough pressure. So I think here is probably the move. This is tricky. So Avalanche is actually interesting. Okay, so how would the actual Avalanche look? So here, here. What is it? What is the blasted variation?
It's 3?
I'm doing something wrong. Here. I think that's what it is. Yeah. There we go. Um, that's the Avalanche. Took me a second to remember. This is the Avalanche, and then go through 3. How does that look? Looking pretty good. Maybe through 3 this one. No. Let's try this one. I think this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. You don't have as many points though, unfortunately, but still possible. Avalanche is a very interesting response to this opening. I really want to just play this though, but this might be too much influence. Maybe here. That's a lot of influence. That's a lot of influence. Let me check this. See that? Okay, review. Gotta go connect. Analyze this. Okay, so we're gonna go here, 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 there, 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 there. Okay, so this is white.
Totally even, huh?
Yeah, white up by half. No, it's 0 points. 0 points. So if Comey's 7.5, so that means black is slightly better. Black is better by Comey. If we get this off. If we pull this off, black is better than by Comey. Okay, so now let's compare it to the Avalanche. There. Looks like he wants the Hane, but let's see if I just do this. That. It's about the same. About the same. Okay, fix this one, I guess. So let's give white one more move. Yeah, it's about the same. You just have to... Maybe it's just a more difficult board for you. Yeah, probably I would play over here somewhere. Just break the combination. Just focus on breaking the combination. And I think your opponents will struggle a lot. So the AI can use influence a lot better than single digit Q can. So I think if you just focus on breaking the combination, I think this opening looks quite well.
We do that other Joseki in the upper left. The
double Hane?
where you hit Honey on the 17. Well, first you Honey at B17 and then do the rest.
Oh, you meant finish the Joseki. That white...
Yeah, finish that the way it was that way. And now go B17. Do that. The other there's another Joseki that follows on that. One where you cut on that one. What do you think of that?
I mean, to me, it's just
black.
Apparently, you can just Niki. Yeah, I usually don't do this. Yeah, I usually don't play this. I save the Aji for later because I don't know if I want to Hane here or Hane here. Looks like black can just ignore. Okay, that's too much.
Yeah, that's one I always wonder about. So
yeah.
It's a good time to ask.
I would say it's just really easy for black to play. That's the problem. Like, what are you after? It looks like we can just ignore. And if you take, then I just go here.
I'm thinking there's got to be some sort of a Sente advantage, though, that makes it useful. Like maybe to play away to that point, and then play away altogether, or not altogether, but down by the lower left area somewhere in the quadrant.
But you lost Sente. So white started this and loses Sente for some local points. So I could only see this being good when we want a lot of influence right here, or when we want to destroy the top side. But in the opening, probably.
Like supposedly one of the good moves for black, if you play the E18 move in there after the, if you play that, one of the good moves for black is to go ahead and play a B move. See the numbers, but B16.
Mm-hmm.
And
white does get to squeeze you though for that.
Right, and then you play that, and then this is still supposedly good for black.
I don't know this one. Usually I just come out, but it says that's bad. It says my move's bad. I think this is just Joseki research probably.
It's just one of those things I've wanted to ask.
I would say white just has bad shape on the outside. Black doesn't really have a lot of points, but white has a really bad shape on the outside, and the AI really likes the outside. If you compare this, remember that white had the influence, and white chose influence instead of the double Hane. So this means that likely you were prioritizing influence, but now you don't have it. If you wanted to prioritize the territory, then maybe you should have just double Hane'd. So it just doesn't feel like a good combination. But also, this is black's choice. So even if you thought the outside was good for white or something, black could just go here and take Sente. Or even respawn locally. And then white gets influence, which is nice. The influence is very nice, but black still gets Sente. So I think there's just too many options for black. It's too many choices for black.
It's way too tough, probably.
Yeah. So this one's actually interesting that the Avalanche created an even position, kind of an even position. All right. So the AI said, "Let's look at the Hane." Doot. 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 Oh, Nobi. Really? What if I cut? What if I cut? Oh, I'm stupid. I'm missing a move. Did I do that in the game? Because you just Atari and look at that. It just spikes up. Ah, I'm missing a move. Oh, I'm missing the tiger's mouth. No, I didn't. I did this right. I think I did the order wrong. I'm confusing myself now. I'm trying to remember the Joseki and I'm doing the order wrong. Okay, so it's saying you have to Nobi, not tiger's mouth. Because I'm thinking it used to be like this. That's the one I'm remembering. Right? That's the one I showed. I think I just played the order wrong. This one says white's up by 2. So this is really good for white if you get this. Then what should black have done different? Oh my gosh, Avalanche is so complicated. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm sure all of you know this Joseki, right?
Of course.
I only know of it. I actually tried to memorize a good portion of it, maybe 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay, actually, if I were in the Youngusing, I might try the Avalanche. Because it looks like the basic pattern, which is what a lot of people will play, is good for white. So it'll get into a complex pattern, and then it'll just depend on my research. Ooh, interesting. So if you want to counter the points lever, and you have good reading and you study the Avalanche actually might be quite good against the points lever. because if we just play the so okay. Let's say your opponent avalanches against you. Don't do that because that leads to complications. If you just keep it simple like this, it looks like it's pretty even. Says that one. I think this one's simpler and more forceful. Yeah.
And the 3 up and
It's saying this 3-3 is better. Looks like by 0.2 points. I can't tell you why. Like, you'd have to watch Inseong lectures for that. I can't tell you why, but it says this one is better.
Why would the other one would be better?
So that one's negative 0.1. This is positive 0.1. So it's 0.2 points better.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much difference, but to me, it kind of like logically makes sense that the bottom left one is more valuable.
It has to do with the open skirt. It's something to do with the open skirt. I just don't know. Yeah.
The shape a bit more of like the entire board, you know, like the kind of framework White's building. It just seems like being in the middle is better to disrupt that because you've got two sides to approach from. That would be like my guess, but it's a really minor change.
I don't know.
wondering if it's just because
There's only like 20 Josekis for white to blue here, and I just can't visualize all of the combinations. See, would it double Hane? Don't you Nobi? Don't you Nobi? Okay. The Nobi's complex. So it's saying to just finish it. I still like black. I still like black here. Even if they do this. So yeah, I like this 3-3 better. I agree with this. Because this one, I'm not worried about this position. It's an open skirt. I'm not worried about this at all. I would honestly be more worried about this one. Because now it's flat for me. And then white goes like this. This one scares me more than the other one. But, okay, yeah. So I think against this, you can just go here. I don't know if you guys know this one or not, though.
I would never find this move.
Well, this one is a Joseki. It's a single-digit Q Joseki you have to learn. There's two responses, the attachment, and then you just can make a base. It's pretty easy. And if they surround you, you can just go through 3. And just make life.
there are
Okay.
units and pictures for that too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah, it's just it's a side move when you can't really... It's against the Knight's move. Specifically, you can play that if you really want to just not approach or attach. So that one... But if you really want to deal with the Moyo and just focus on the Moyo, which I think is more to the idea that we're trying to get at, because this one gives white a choice of a Moyo, and probably we want to focus more on breaking the combination, so I'm going to say one of these two will be better than this one, even though this one's 0.1 points better, because it more focuses on our idea of 3 corners, break the combination. So I think this
That
one
makes
is...
sense.
I think one of these two would be better. Okay, so yeah, I think the counter to the Avalanche, so if your opponent plays the Avalanche, I think the counter is just going to play simple and make the open skirt. I think this is the simplest way for black. And then this 3-3 is going to give you a decent position. I think this is going to be the easiest way for you to play it. It may not be the best way by any means, but I think it's an easy enough way that we can remember it and apply it. But I would say if you want to trip up your opponents in Yonguseng, maybe play the Avalanche against the points lever and see who knows it better. Because if they play a simple variation, if they play the normal one,
Avalanche isn't really studied anymore either.
Exactly. If they play this, this is going to be 2 points better for white. So this is going to be much better for white. It looks like even... how do I see percentage? 20% for white? 20% for white? It's huge for pros. For us, it's barely anything. It's barely anything, but it breaks their combination, right? So that's nice. Now, if they approach, I would just study this a little bit better. Looks like you just play here. It's fine. Yeah, it's just an idea that you can try. If the follow-ups become too complex and you keep dying, don't worry about it. Just ignore it. Just go back to normal. But it could be a secret weapon. If you study it, it could be a secret weapon. Yeah. So let's look at one more. So it looks like this one is against Kadar. Drooch versus Kadar. So let's see how it goes.
Go well, obviously.
Review started.
Okay. Doot. Oh, you didn't try to prevent it against them? you tried to prevent it against me. I would two space. With two space there. For me, I would immediately like a three space. You always throw a stone in, and then you just go back to normal. Just for the Aji. All you do is leave the Aji, right? Just leave the Aji. So I would always throw a stone into that. Now, I get you probably handle it. I guess it's not that bad. Just I don't know. It feels unnecessary because it's not like black wants to attack you from this side because it's flat. But it's fine. It's fine. I would be going low. I might even Tanuki right now and just go for the 3/3 because we're trying to points lever, right? So we're trying to get 3/4 and then break the combination. So this to me feels more points levery. But honestly, I really want to exchange here, get white to fix, and then get that. I think this would be much more to the points lever. Get your 3/4, and then break the combination. Probably you can go here, because technically the AI values breaking the Shamari more than the 3/3. So maybe you could go here if you really want. But that's an okay game too.
Is it better to do that first or go to the
that's tricky.
go to C6 first and then try to do that?
You're saying go here?
Yeah. 3/3, either one. Maybe the 3/3 is better.
Well, the 3/3 is more along the lines with our idea, but the problem is what's going to happen at our level, and do we like this or do we not like this for us?
See, often at this point, what almost always happens to me is play at D8, say.
Here?
White plays at D8.
No, that's over concentrated. That's really bad.
That's usually what they do.
Yeah.
You're saying that would be the right move.
Yeah. If they go here, it's really easy to reduce, so they have to go high. So you can maybe just break the combination again. That doesn't seem that bad. So possible. And there's also this move. I think breaking the combination is easier for us to play at this level. I think this will just be easier for us at this level. So yeah, we can do that. This one, I honestly don't know what they will do. Maybe just pincer. Well, let's see if we can 3/3. Like, what happens? That doesn't look that bad for us. I think we can do. I think we can actually do a lot. Having two corners actually gives us a lot of breathing room. So yeah, approach or 3/3, I think are both fine. If you're really worried about a Moyo, you could approach high, and then 3/3. If you're really concerned about it, this is an option. This is going to get you attacked a bit though, so you're going to have good defense. Maybe here. So yeah, as long as you have good defense, but this is probably my least favorite. So yeah, I think just take two corners and 3/3 works in most positions. Can you guys think of any exceptions? Anything else your opponents might try?
Sometimes I've had them play Q at the start point at Q10.
Oh, right here.
No.
If they do that, I would maybe just go 3-3, because even if they do this, it's the same thing. And if they do this, then that's just silly. It's just silly. So maybe, you could probably just 3-3.
That's the absolute worst place to play on the board, isn't it?
No, it's not the worst. I think probably here's the worst. I think technically that's the worst on this board.
No need to take me quite that
literally. I mean, you said the worst place to play on the board. I'm like, oh, but is it?
But I mean,
It's not great. It's not great, I think. So yeah, I think in this one I would just 3-3, because I think you already have this corner no matter what. I think they would have to go here to take it away from you, and that's not that bad. I think that's pretty easy to handle.
Isn't White kind of taking the wrong approach by trying to take the corner away anyway? Like, shouldn't White just be trying to play like really wide or like and loose? I guess would be the word I would use.
Well, it depends on what you want to do as White, right? So I actually like we're not really thinking about White's combination. White's supposed to make a combination, of course, but mostly it's like, how do we handle the weird stuff your opponents will do? And what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to at least play like 3 games this week with the points lever, and then bring it to the next Clossi class. So that way we can look at like, what do your opponents do? Because they usually do something wrong. Because if you want to go over the correct variations, we should consult the Inseong lecture. But your opponents never do the best stuff, right? So we need to think, okay, how do we handle the wrong stuff to get a lead, to maximize our lead? That's the thing. Because if your opponents play correctly, then we can research that all day long. But I highly doubt at the Q level that your opponents are going to play this correctly, or play White correctly. So that's why I'm like, okay, let's set it up at a position that gives us an advantage, and then let's figure out how we can maximize that advantage depending on what your opponents play. And then it's just up to your middle game if you can turn that into a victory or not, of course. Like I said, it's not going to win you the game, but if you can go into the middle game with a lead, like a 10-point lead, it's pretty nice. But I would say focus on just, for this specific opening idea, you get 3 corners and then break their combination. If you can do that, I think you'll have a pretty decent chance to win. Not a guaranteed chance, but a pretty decent one. So, anything else you can consider for White?
What if White did Sonorense? Because I would be somewhat tempted to do that if I was against Black. I mean, I haven't tried the point limit thing, because I said to you in our lesson, like, I kind of prefer playing the other way, but I would like, kind of. I would be somewhat interested in how this goes.
So probably here. And then maybe if they're super invested here, and then here. I think that's fine. Otherwise, they might go here. If they Avalanche, just do that again.
What would you do against, like, Knight's move approach on the bottom right corner? Like, from the left-hand
Here?
side? From right? No, from the... Oh, wait. Oh, you're playing 4-3. I thought, for some reason, I thought it was 4-4.
Ah. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think just get this and then just play. Then depending on what they play. So I think this against Sunrise, just 3-3. And this one should be fine. The top left, because if you think about the double Hane, then that combination on top is pretty nice. So I think the top left 3-3 is the good one. Again. Anything else? Any other?
In that last Joseki, you just go ahead. No, not the one before that. Can White, because you have the 3 stones at C, D, and E16, can White just go ahead and extend G17?
Yeah, that's another thing they might do, but you get Sentai then. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either.
So there's the latter idea too. That's so it makes it not so good for White.
I mean, that's a net, but it doesn't matter because you get Sente. Even if there wasn't any Peeps or Aji, you get Sente, so it's got to be fine. I won't say it's good for you. I'm just saying we can manage it. With 3 corners, so this gives us 3 solid corners, and then we just start focusing on reducing our opponent somehow, or invade or reduce.
That's
I don't know.
Immediate 3/3, right? If you go to the double wing.
This is a double high wing, not a double low wing. Double high wing is slightly different idea because technically, I can do that and then keep trying to build. I don't know. I haven't researched this with the AI yet. But yeah, if you want a 3/3, I think it might be fine on this board too. It's just, it's getting more and more of a Melio, and are you confident you can deal with that? Like, maybe you can. If this is comfortable for you, then that's fine.
Almost go to B10 though. No.
Yeah, I would prefer an easier position. So I don't think I would 3/3 again. That might be a little too greedy to get 4 corners. I might just do something more simple, like attack a stone and break the Mayo.
That's probably what I'm doing. I get too greedy and I take 4 corners. And then I lose.
I wouldn't even say it's greed. It's just you're picking a position that's hard to follow. Like for example, if you have the choice of what middle game you want to play. If you want to play a middle game that you struggle to invade, well, why would you pick that if you're struggling with it versus picking something that you can handle more easily? Or why would you pick a reading intensive middle game instead of a simple middle game? Like play the middle game that makes play an opening that makes the middle game easier for you. So even let's say there's more than one correct answer. Let's say we have A, B, C, D, E, F. We have all these options, okay? And let's assume they're all correct. So if they're all correct answers, which one leads to a game that I'm comfortable with? And that's where you're struggling. Is you keep picking the ones that the pros say is the best instead of just picking one that's like 1 point less, but you can handle it better, or it works better against single digit queues. It's like 1 point less, but it's less reading intensive. So I think that's where you struggle a little bit, because you keep picking the ones that lead to complicated middle games instead of just a simple middle game. Just survive while they're living. Break their combination. So that's Sanrensei. Any other? Well, I guess probably we're running out of time. Does anyone have any questions about the points lever?
No.
I sent the Inseong lecture for anyone that's in the Youngusing. That goes over a lot more variations, but I tried to simplify it for you guys to make it easier to understand. And yeah, hopefully that will allow you guys to play it at least a few times. And if you guys can, just play 3 games of the points lever and bring it in next class, and we'll see how it goes.
Thanks.
Okay, thank
Great
you very
class.
much.
Awesome. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that, and I will see you guys next time.